Coming back with another video on today, another short video. And the topic of discussion is based on Genesis chapter 12, verse 3. I will bless them that bless thee. So I will go into that, edify you guys, break it down. Um, so as a heathen man, because we know that a heathen man, or what you may call a Gentile, however, they are not Israelites. If you are a heathen man, a heathen woman, that means you are not part of the 12 tribes. You're not an Israelite. So not to be a part of the nation of Israel, by default, if you're not of the nation of Israel, you are a heathen, also classified as a Gentile biologically. So the question is, I had a couple heathens to ask me this question. So if we not the chosen, because we know blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the chosen, according to the biblical prophecies and by faith. So if you're not the chosen, then, I had a couple heathen nations, so-called white man, so-called Chinese man, and so forth. They asked me, then what we supposed to be doing if we not the chosen people? What are we supposed to be doing according to the Bible? And this brings us to Genesis chapter 12, verse 3. What you're supposed to be doing as a heathen man or heathen woman, a Gentile man, a Gentile woman, if you're not an Israelite, what you're supposed to be doing is Genesis 12 and 3. And it says, I will bless them that bless thee. So I will bless them that bless thee. See that? So you supposed to be blessing us. You heathens, you Gentiles, as a nation of Israel, you supposed to do us good service. You're supposed to do us good tribute. We supposed to be honored and glorified. We don't supposed to be mocked. We don't supposed to be scoffed. We don't supposed to be ridiculed. We don't supposed to be picked on, and mimicked as a nation. We supposed to be blessed because you guys supposed to bless us. And by you blessing us, you will receive your blessings as return. That's what the Gentiles and the heathen nations supposed to be doing towards the nation of Israel. I will bless them that bless thee. But if you want to come against the nation of Israel and you don't want to do them good service, you want to abuse them, mistreat them, misuse them, okay, it says, and curse him that curse thee. You see that? So the choice is yours, Gentiles, heathens. The choice is yours. As far as how you would deal with the nation of Israel. Are you going to bless us and turn to be blessed and return to be blessed? Or are you going to curse us and exploit us, misuse us, and abuse us? Because if you do that, it says, and curse him that curse thee. You see, so the choice is yours. That's what you're supposed to be doing as a heathen, also known as a Gentile. You're supposed to come to terms and make your mind up on what you should be doing towards the Israelites. If you wanna mistreat them, abuse them in like manner, do so, and you will be cursed. But as the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans being the chosen people, if you want to be blessed, ultimately in the end, if you want a lighter judgment, if you want a lighter judgment during your process of slavery, then you bless us, and then your load would be much lighter. Your yoke would be much lighter if you bless us during that appointed time in your slavery that's coming to you heathens and you Gentiles, man. All right. So let me get you more book, chapter, and verses. Now, this is another account in Joshua chapter 2, beginning with verse 1, on how Rahab, because Rahab was a heathen, she was also a Gentile, she was an African, right? Rahab was an African, all right? She was Hamitic. So, we're dealing with this account in Joshua chapter 2. What did Rahab do to the Israelites? Was she for the Israelites or was she against the Israelites? Let's find out. In terms of, blessing the Israelites or cursing the Israelites. Let's see what Rahab did. Joshua 2 and 1. And Joshua the son of Nun sent out of Shittim two men to spy secretly, saying, "Go view the land." So Joshua sent out men to go into the land and spy it out. Even Jericho. So this was dealing with Jericho, Israel first conquest. Right? It says, and they went and came into an harlot's. This is a whore. And came into a harlot's house, which was named Rahab, and lodged there. So, in terms of Joshua sending men out to spy secretly and to view the land, they came to this whore's house, which was named Rahab, and they lodged there. Joshua 2:2, and it was told the king of Jericho, saying, "Behold, there came men in here tonight of the children of Israel to search out the country." So the king of Jericho had heard about Israelite men secretly sneaking into the city to spy it out, right? Joshua 2:3. And the king of Jericho sent into Rahab, saying, "Bring forth the men that are come to you, which are entered into thy house, for they be come to search out all the country." So this was the request that the king of Jericho said to Rahab. He said, "Bring forth these Israelite men. Where the hell are these Israelite men at? Bring them out." Watch this. Joshua 2:4. And the woman, which was Rahab, took the two men and hid them. So Rahab did not do according to the king of Jericho. She took the Israelite men, she took them away, she hid them, she disguised them. She hid them and said, "There came men into me, but I do not know where they are," basically. Or, and like the Bible would have you, "but I wist not whence they were." So basically, I don't know where the hell they at. There were men that came into me, but they peeled out and I don't know where they at. Now, was Rahab telling the truth or was Rahab telling a lie? Of course, she was telling a lie to the king of Jericho in order to save the Israelite men from being sought out. So Rahab did the Israelite men good service. She did them good service by hiding them and covering for them. Joshua 2:5. And it came to pass about the time of the shutting of the gate, when it was dark, that the man went out. Whether the man went out or what not. Basically, I don't know where they went. Whether they went, I don't know where they went. That's what she's saying, basically. "Pursue after them quickly, for you shall overtake them." So Rahab said, "I don't know where the man went. All I know, they did come and pay us a visit, but I don't know where they went." She said, "Perhaps if you pursue them quickly, you can catch up with them," basically. So Rahab was telling all these lies to the king of Jericho in order to save the Israelite men. You see, so she was doing the Israelite men good service. Why? Because she was sparing and saving their lives from the king of Jericho, right? By lying to him. Okay, so Joshua 2:6. But she had brought them up to the roof of the house. So that's talking about the attic part. So Rahab brought the Israelite men up into the attic and took them away and hid them with the stalks of flax, which she had laid in order upon the roof. So she took some flax and covered them up. That's doing Israelites good service. That ain't cursing the Israelites. That's blessing the Israelites. Just keep that in mind. Rahab was blessing the Israelites. Rahab was looking out for the Israelites. Rahab was sparing the Israelites. She did them good service by lying to the king of Jericho, her own people. Watch this. Joshua 2:7. And the man pursued after them the way to Jordan and to the fords. And as soon as they which pursued after them were gone, they shut the gate. Joshua 2:8. And before they were laid down, she came up into them upon the roof. See that? Joshua 2:9. And she said unto the men, which were the Israelites, "I know that the Lord hath given you the land." So Rahab say, I know you're about to come in here and kill everything moving and take over this land. Because I know the Lord hath given my people over to you, basically. And that your terror is falling upon us. So Rahab said, man, listen, I know all the damage y'all about to do to Jericho. and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. So these people was afraid. They was very scared about what was going down because Israel was on the verge of infiltrating Jericho and tearing that bitch down. And Rahab knew that. Joshua 2:10. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you. All this history, Rahab say, we heard all these wonderful things, what your God did for you when you came out of Egypt, and what ye did unto the two kings of Amorites and that were on the other side of Jordan, Sihon and Og. So because on their way, basically on their way to the promised land, God had given the Israelites power to overtake heathen nations, such as the Amorites. You know what I'm saying? The Israelites killed King Sihon and then turn around and kill King Og. Just slaughtered them. Killed King Sihon, King Og, and his men. So Rahab already knew the Lord was with Israel. And that's why she was looking out for the Israelite men, because she was scared as hell. And she said, maybe if I bless them, they will bless me. Get what I'm saying? Joshua 2:11. And as soon as we heard these things, our heart did melt. So right here, these Africans, these Hamites, you know what I'm saying? These Canaanites, they saying, man, we heard all these things that you Israelites have done to these heathens. And we are afraid, man. You killed King Sihon, you turned around and killed King Og, you took their land, and now you're on your way to kill us and destroy this city, Jericho. So, yeah, the people in that town, the people in Jericho, they were scared as hell. You know what I'm saying? And their hearts did melt. Neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you. For the Lord your God, he is God in heaven above and in the earth beneath. So Rahab is telling the Israelites right here, man, not one Canaanite, not one Hamite, not one African man had any more courage left in their hearts because of the fear of Israel. Joshua 2:12. Now therefore I pray to you, swear unto me by the Lord, since I have showed you kindness, because I have showed you kindness. What did we just look at previously? We looked at Genesis 12:3. I will bless them that bless thee. Remember that? We looked at Genesis 12:3. I will bless them that bless thee. Joshua 2:12. Rahab said, I pray, swear unto me by the Lord, since I have showed you kindness. So she blessed the Israelites. I have showed you kindness, that ye will also show kindness into my father's house, and give me a true token. Joshua 2:13, and that ye will save alive my father and my mother and my brothers and sisters. Basically, since I showed you kindness, please, Israel, just spare my family. Please, Israel, spare my father. Please, Israel, spare my mother and my brothers and sisters. Please, that's all I'm asking. I looked out for you. Please do me a favor. So that's what you heathens supposed to be doing. That's what you so-called white people are supposed to be doing. That's what you so-called Japanese. That's what you so-called Chinese people. You so-called Africans. You so-called Greeks. You so-called Romans. You so-called Arabs. You so-called Syrians. You so-called Egyptians. You so-called Persians. All you heathen nations. This is what you're supposed to be doing as the nation, as the heathen nations. You're supposed to be blessing Israel. You're not supposed to come against Israel. You're not supposed to put your mouth on Israel. You're not supposed to exploit Israel. You're not supposed to take advantage of Israel. But you're supposed to show honor to the gods and goddesses of this earth, which is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which are the chosen people. So Rahab said, all I'm asking is that you save my life and you save my family, since I have showed kindness to you. Joshua 2:13. Save alive my family, all that they have, and deliver our lives from death. You see that? But you heathens, you don't respect us today. So-called white people, you so-called Africans, you so-called Chinese, you so-called Japanese, you East Indians, you Persians, you Iranians, you know what I'm saying? You Greeks and all the rest of you heathen nations. You don't show us high regards the way you're supposed to be showing us. We at the bottom of the totem pole. That's why you take us as a joke. But when the Lord restores us as a nation, ultimately and fully and exclusively put us back on top, we gonna see. You get what I'm saying? Joshua 2:14. And the man answered her, our life for yours, if you utter not this our business. See that? It shall be, when the Lord hath given us the land, that we will deal kindly and truly with you. See that? Because she looked out for them. But imagine if Rahab did not look out for the Israelites. Imagine if Rahab would have snitched the Israelites out. Imagine if Rahab would have told the king of Jericho, oh, here they are, here they go, there they are. Imagine if she would have been against the Israelites. See what I'm saying? Rahab and her whole entire family would have not been spared. They would have been murdered. So, I'm saying this, I'm reading this to say that basically, as a heathen and a Gentile, take the exaggerated effort to show kindness to the Israelites, to blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. Take the exaggerated effort to show kindness to them, to honor them, not to exploit them, and acknowledge the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans as God's chosen, as his special, peculiar people. Because we don't receive that recognition on today, but that's what you heathens supposed to be doing. That's why I took you to Joshua chapter 2, because Rahab did that. She blessed the Israelites. She showed them kindness. In return, the Israelites spared her and her whole entire family when they came in to kill everything moving in Jericho. You see, and we can show you ultimately. Yeah. Okay, so let's jump down a little bit. Joshua 2 and 18, behold, when we come into the land, thou shalt bind this line of scarlet. So it was a long ribbon, a long red ribbon. That line of scarlet thread in the window. So they told Rahab when they come into that land, to bind that line of that scarlet long red ribbon, to bind that thread into the window, which thou did let us down by, and thou shalt bring your father and your mother and your brothers and all thy father's household unto thee. Joshua 2 and 19, and it shall be that whosoever shall go out of the doors of thy house into the street, his blood shall be upon his head, and we will be guiltless. And whosoever shall be with you in the house, his blood shall be on our head, if any hand be upon him. Joshua 2 and 20, and if thou utter this our business, then we will be quit of thy oath which thou hast made us to swear. Joshua 2 and 21, and she said, according to your word, so it be. She sent them away, and they departed, and she bound the scarlet line in the window, because that was a trademark, so they can see which house not to murder, or which house to skip over. Joshua 2 and 22, and they went and came into the mountain and abode there 3 days until the pursuers were returned, and the pursuers sought them throughout all the way, but found them not. Joshua 2 and 23, so the two men returned and descended from the mountain and passed over, and they came to Joshua, the son of Nun, and told him all the things that befell them, and basically Joshua 2 and 24, and they said unto Joshua, truly the Lord have delivered into our hand all the land, for even all the inhabitants of the country do faint because of us. So everybody in the city of Jericho was scared as hell. All them Hamites was scared as hell, and they knew they was on a timeline, and they just had a short amount of time before Israel went in there and killed everything moving. But remember, they spared Rahab the harlot because of the trademark of that long scarlet ribbon that was hanging from her window. They knew that was the house to spare, because Rahab showed kindness to the Israelites. You get what I'm saying? So, yes. Show kindness to the Israelites, man, and the Israelites will show kindness to you, because all you heathen nations are going into slavery. See right here, this is why I'm telling you, show kindness to the Israelites. Jeremiah 30 and 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. So see that? It's just according on how you treat us. It's according on how you treat God's chosen people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Therefore, all they that devour thee, basically, whoever you heathen nations, Chinese, Japanese, white people, Africans, East Indians, Arabs, Greeks, Romans, whosoever of you heathen nations out there, if you devour us, you will be devoured ultimately in the end. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. See that? So that's why I'm telling you. But if all bless us, they will be blessed. your servitude, your slavery won't be so harsh. That's why it says, therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversaries. You want to be our enemies? Cool. You want to rise up against the nation of Israel? That's okay. All of our enemies, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil you shall be spoiled, and all they that prey upon you, basically preying on us, you know what I'm saying, plotting on killing us, all they that prey upon you, I will give for a prey. So be very careful how you treat the Israelites. All you heathen nations out here, be very careful how you treat the so-called black man, the so-called Hispanic man, and the so-called Native American man, woman, and child. Be careful on what you do to God's chosen people, man, because if you devour, you will be devoured. You see that? And every one of you will go into captivity. If you spoil, it says, we shall spoil you. And if you prey upon us, it says, he will give you for a prey. That's why I told you, this thing is heavy, man, going back to Genesis 12:3. This thing is really deep. Genesis 12:3. I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curse thee. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So it just depends on what you heathens want to do, man. You want to come against us, be cursed. You want to be for us, be blessed. That's what your duty is as a Gentile, aka heathen. This is what you heathen nations supposed to be doing in terms of acknowledging the Israelites, which are God's chosen. Deuteronomy 4:6. Let's see. Let me go back up. Deuteronomy 4:5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land, whether you go to possess it. Deuteronomy 4:6. Keep therefore and do them. So the Most High is talking through Moses. Moses is the legislator, the lawgiver, and he's telling the Israelites to keep the commandments. So keep them therefore and do them. This is your wisdom. So what is the wisdom? What is the wisdom of the Israelites? Keeping the commandments, keeping the statutes and the judgments. This is your wisdom, Israel. This is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, in the sight of the heathen, in the sight of these other Gentiles. It says, in the sight of the nations, which these Gentiles, these heathens, they shall hear all these statutes. And what these heathens and these Gentiles is going to say. They shall say, oh wow, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. So that's what you got to get back into acknowledging us for, you heathen nations. So-called white man, Chinese, Japanese, East Indians, Arabs, you Africans, and all the rest of you non-Israelite people. You understand? We trying to the best of our ability to return back to these statutes and these judgments and keep these commandments. You understand? And I know y'all see us out here making this exaggerated effort to try to strive and keep God's commandments. So what we need y'all to do, we need y'all to acknowledge us and say, wow, this is surely a great nation and wise and understanding people. Are you going to say that, white man? Are you going to say that, Chinese man? Are you going to say that, Japanese man, Indian man, Arab man, East Indians? Are you going to say that? Surely this is a great nation and wise and understanding people? Are you going to continue to call us derogative names, derogative terms? Are you going to continue to call us proverbs and bywords? Are you going to continue to call us niggas and wetbacks and tomahawks? Are you going to continue to call us the minority instead of calling us the illuminated ones? Are you going to continue to belittle us? Are you going to continue to defame us as a nation? Are you going to say, surely this great nation is a wise, understanding people? That's what you heathen nations got to get back to doing. You see, are you going to tell us, Deuteronomy 4 and verse 7, are you going to tell us for what nation is there so great? You understand? What nation is there so great who has God so near unto them as the Lord our God in all things that we call upon him for? You see, Deuteronomy 4 and 8, in what nation is there so great that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? See, you other nations, you supposed to be acknowledging us, you Gentiles, you heathens, you supposed to be not acknowledging us as a great nation. What nation is greater than the Israelites? What nation is great than an Israelites that has statutes and judgments and so righteous? What nation can top the nation of Israel? What nation is there so great? What nation who has God so close to them? That's what you heathens, you Gentiles, supposed to be acknowledging, but you don't do that. Because you consider us to be very little of value since we broke the commandments. But we trying to keep these commandments to the best of our ability and get back on top. But you fail to acknowledge the movement. You fail to acknowledge the progress, because I know you even see it, but you just fail to acknowledge it. But guess what? Peace and blessings be upon the heathen nations that is willing to acknowledge Israel as the chosen people, that is willing to acknowledge that Israel is a nation that's so great, that's willing to acknowledge, that we are the leaders of this earth, and also the gods and goddesses of this earth, and God's chosen. Deuteronomy 7 verse 6, for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. This is talking about the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which are the Israelites, according to the biblical prophecies of today. We are the descendants of the ancient Israelites. We are the children of the slave trade. This is what the Bible says about us. Deuteronomy 7 verse 6. For the Israelites, thou art a holy people unto the Lord your God. The Lord your God have chosen you. He chose us. He could have chose any other nation upon this earth, but he chose us to be a special people unto himself. So the Most High don't have another selected special people unto himself. No, the only people that he has chosen and the only people that he has special unto himself is the Israelites. And that's you blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. So count it all joy and count your blessings if you are the chosen, because the Most High elected you to be a special people, not to everybody, but unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. It says above all. That means we are above all the other nations. The Israelites are above all the other nations. The other nations, they ain't got shit on us. They can't top us. We are above all you other heathens and you Gentiles. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are the Israelites. You are above the white man, which are the Edomites. You are above the Ammonites, which are the Japanese. You are above the Moabites, which are the Chinese. You are above the East Indians, which are the Elamites. You are above the Kittamites, which are the Romans. You are above the Javanites, which are the Greeks. You are above the Hamites, which are the Africans. You are above the Asherites, which are the Assyrians. You are above the Mizraimites, which are the Egyptians. And any other damn heathen nation and Gentile nation on this earth, they can't top the nation of Israel, because we are above all people that are upon the face of this earth. I didn't say it. God said it in his word. And you heathen nations have failed to acknowledge that we are God's special people. Even though we telling you that we are the Israelites according to the biblical prophecies. You heathen nations, hell will freeze over before you acknowledge that we are God's special and chosen people, man. Because you fail to acknowledge that out of your pump and your pride, man. You don't want to acknowledge that we the salt of the earth. You don't want to acknowledge that. You don't want to acknowledge that the Lord set his love upon us. You don't want to acknowledge that the Lord chose us to be his people and to himself. And he loved us and he kept the oath that he had sworn to our fathers. But you don't want to acknowledge that. You heathen nations don't want to acknowledge that. You better get on your P's and Q's and you better start showing high regards for the nation of Israel, man, because that's what you're supposed to be doing. But if you don't want to, cursed you shall be as a nation. You already cursed because you, especially the Edomites, the so-called white man, these Africans, and the rest of these heathen nations, what they have done to God's chosen people thus far. All these unspeakable atrocities, all this rape, rob, and murder that you have carried out on God's people. You got to pay for that, man. The best thing you can do is turn your shit around and stop mistreating God's people and get on your P's and Q's of showing his people high regards, respect, and honor and tribute. This is Isaiah 40 and 15. Behold, the nations. It's talking about these heathens, non-Israelite people. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket. Because you're not going to miss a drop. You're going to be concerned with the abundance of water in the bucket. A drop is nothing. And that's what these other heathen nations and these Gentiles is counted as. That's what the so-called white man, which are the Edomites, the Africans, the Hamites, you understand, and the rest of these nations. This is how God look at the rest of these nations. He looks at them as a drop compared to a full bucket of water, man. You see, the nations are as a drop of a bucket and are counted as the small dust of the balance because they don't hold any weight. These other nations are looked at as the speck of dust. They count it as very little, the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the islands as a very little thing, because that's talking about them, the South Pacific. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of heathens over there too, and he look at them as, he take them up as very little. It says in Lebanon, Isaiah 40:16, that's the Arabs, them Ishmaelites, and Lebanon is not sufficient to burn. You understand? Nor the beasts thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. You get what I'm saying? Because first and foremost, the Most High didn't give his laws, statutes, and commandments to the Arabs. You understand? Isaiah 40:17. All nations, this is talking about you Gentiles. This is talking about non-Israelite people. If you're not black, Hispanic, and Native American descent, all you other nations before the Most High, all you before the Lord, all before him are as nothing. You're nothing. You're nothing. This ain't what I've written. This is what God says in his word. You're nothing. You understand? But you're everything. You're everything if you acknowledge us. You're everything if you show high regard and respect to God's chosen people. And if you did what Rahab did and are the blessing God's people instead of cursing God's people, you are everything. See, we make you what you are. We make you everything that you are. Okay? So you are as nothing. If you want to disrespect and you want to disapprove of God's chosen people, then you are nothing. But if you want to be counted as something, then show God people respect and bless the nation of Israel instead of cursing us. Because all you nations are as nothing, and they are counted to the Most High less than nothing, and they are vanity. You understand? I didn't write it. This is what God says in his word, man. You understand? Here's another one in the Apocrypha, guys. Here's another one in the Apocrypha. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 56 in the Apocrypha. As for the other people, this is the Gentiles. As for the other people which also come of Adam, this is the Gentiles, these other people which also come of Adam. You hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto the drop that falleth from a vessel. This is nothing but Isaiah, what we were just reading previously. Let me see. This is what this is. Let's see. Let me go back to it. This is what this is. Isaiah 40:15. Isaiah 40:15 through 17. That's the same thing that we are looking at in the Apocrypha, dealing with 2nd Ezra 6 and 56. The Most High said that they are nothing. They ain't nothing. They ain't shit compared to the Israelites. They ain't hitting on shit compared to the Israelites. See that? But be likened to spittle. If anything, they are likened into saliva in your mouth. They are likened to hot saliva, hot spit. That's how these Gentile nations is looked at. You understand? So yeah, that's why I told you it's everything to bless the Israelite, because you won't be considered less than nothing if you show us respect and honor us as God's chosen. You won't be considered, you won't be counted to him less than nothing and vanity. You will be everything to the Most High if you acknowledge his chosen, but you want to do that. And half of you nations that want to still rise up against the chosen and don't want to treat us with dignity and honor, that's why you're a piece of shit. Okay, let's continue on. Another one in the Apocrypha is Esther, chapter 14. Esther, is it Esther chapter? Is it Esther? Wait a minute, guys. Let me get it. As you can see right here, additions to Esther. This is additions to Esther. Chapter 14. as you can see right here, down here. You guys see that? Because I want you to see that. Um, you see right there where it says additions to Esther. That's in the Apocrypha. See that? So additions to Esther, chapter 14. Let's begin with verse 10. It says, and open the mouths of the heathen to set forth the praises of the idols and to magnify a fleshly king forever. Now watch this. Esther, additions to Esther chapter 14, verse 11. Oh Lord, give not thy scepter unto them. See that? So this is what Esther is saying to these heathens, these Gentiles. Oh Lord, do not give your rulership to them. Do not make them head honchos. Do not put them on top, because they was never put on top. We was chosen to the Most High and to himself to build special people. So Esther said, oh Lord, give not your rulership or your power and your control. That's what that means, the scepter. And to them that be nothing. And see that? And to these Gentiles and these heathen nations that are not Israelites, don't give your glory, your honor, and your power and control and rulership to these goddamn heathens that be nothing. And let them not laugh at our fall. See that? But turn their device upon themselves and make him an example that have begun this against us. So right here, that's why I say, and let them not laugh at our fall. Esther was an Israelite, man. You see what I'm saying? And Esther said, you heathens, you Gentiles, you're not supposed to be laughing at our fall. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be honoring us and glorifying us. You're not supposed to be laughing at our state of condition, our servitude and subjectivity and slavery, and our state of slavery. You know what I'm saying? You don't supposed to be laughing at our fall. But that's why a lot of you heathens and a lot of you Gentiles, man, you got it in. You got it coming in. You understand? For real. For real. It's a rude awakening for you that continue to laugh at our fall, man. You understand? Remember, O Lord, make thyself known in the time of our affliction and give me boldness, O King of the nations and Lord of power. You understand? In the Apocrypha as well, this is Second Ezra's chapter 6, beginning with Second Ezra chapter 6 and 54. After these, Adam also, whom thou made Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all. So basically, all these nations, because it's 18 nations total in the earth, and all of us come of Adam. Of him we come all. And the people also whom thou hast chosen. The people that the Most High chose was the Israelites. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. That's the people who he chose. Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, and natives today, according to the biblical prophecies, by faith. 2 Ezra 6 and 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because you made the world for our sakes. So all these elements, what you see around you, basically this land, this earth, it was made for the sake of the Israelites. 2 Ezra 6 and 56. As for the other people, Gentiles, heathens, which also come of Adam, thou hast said they are nothing but be likened to spittle. We went over that, and has likened them unto the abundance of them that drop a drop that falleth from a vessel. We went over that. And now watch this, what Ezra said. 2 Ezra 6 and 57. And now these same people that is like spittle, these same people that is likened to hot saliva, hot spit, these same people that was nothing, you know, these same people basically these heathen, according to 2 Ezra 6 and 57. He said, Ezra was pissed off, because he said, how the hell these heathens, these people that ain't shit, these heathens, which have ever been reputed as nothing, these people, the so-called white man, Africans, Japanese, Chinese, East Indians, Arabs, Africans, Greeks, Romans, all these other heathens, all these other Gentiles, which ain't ever been, which have been reputed as nothing, has been reputed as shit. How the hell they have begun to be lords over us and to devour us? This was a question that Ezra asked. You understand? Because he didn't get it. He said, man, I don't get it. We was the special people. Israel is the special people. Israel is the people above all people, the special people above all people. How in the hell these other heathens that ain't shit has begun to gain and get above us and be large over us and devour us? How the hell is that? That's the question Ezra asked. Because, make a long story short, we broke the commandments, y'all. You see. 2nd Ezra 6 and 58. But we, your people, whom you have calling your firstborn, that Israel, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. So ultimately, for breaking the commandments and not doing what the Most High required of us to do, we was given into these heathens' hands. We was given into these stinking ass heathens' hands. The same people that was reputed as nothing, the same people that was not God's chosen, we was given into these people's hands for breaking the commandments. That's 2nd Ezra 6 and 58, 2nd Ezra 6 and 59. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? So Ezra said, how long this shit gonna be that these other stinking ass heathens that has not been reputed as shit, they ain't never been reputed as nothing, they never been regarded highly, they never been God's chosen, they never been God's special people. How long these same old people that has not been nothing that you have given us into their hands, how long this shit gonna be, man? And that's what we say today at Israel. But like I said, man, the best thing for a heathen man, heathen woman, heathen child, heathen boy, heathen girl to do is to acknowledge Israel and recognize and show us honor and respect and dignity as the gods and goddesses and God's chosen people of this earth, man. But I don't think they're going to do that because since we broke the commandments, you know what I'm saying? We broke the commandments and he made us low. He made them gods over us when we broke the commandments. Now that they got the upper hand, they just treat us like shit. You understand? But when the tables are turned around, you know what I'm saying? When we return back to these commandments and the Most High turn the tables around, then they'll start, that's when they're going to notice. That's when they're going to recognize, oh shit. You see what I'm saying? But for right now, they just treat us like we ain't nothing. This is Isaiah 65 and 15. And you shall leave your name. This is the prophet speaking to Israel. You shall leave your name for a curse into my chosen. See that? So we was cursed as a nation, man, because we didn't keep the commandments. And we left our name, like our royal names. Like we had tribal names. Like you so-called Negroes, you so-called African Americans, you black people. You was known as Judah in the Bible, you know, but you left your name for a curse. So you're not no longer today being called Judah, you so-called African Americans. You are being called niggas. You're being called everything else. You the black man, the black woman, the Negro man, Negro woman, Afro Americans, and all kind of other shit. Because you're not being called your biblical royal name because you left your name for a curse. When Israel decided not to walk in God's commandments. For the Lord God shall slay you and call his servants by another name. Who are the servants of the Lord? The Israelites. But it says that for breaking the commandments, your punishment for breaking the commandments is that you will be called by another name. And what is that another name? Deuteronomy 28:37. This is what happened to the nation of Israel for breaking the commandments. And you shall become an astonishment. So basically all the other nations, all the other Gentile nations, they're going to look at us like we don't have any damn sense. Like we are the most insane nation of all time. They're going to look at us like that because we have become an astonishment in the eyes of the other nations. And also, we shall become a proverb and a byword. A proverb, that's a nickname in a bad sense. A proverb and a byword. Those are nicknames, derogative names in bad senses. You know what I'm saying? Basically, we're not going to be called Judah, you know, but we will be called nigger, or we will be called nigger man, a nigger woman, a blackie tart baby, or stepping fidget, porch monkey, a coon, a black monkey, a black crow, a negra. You get what I'm saying? African Americans, Afro Americans, black man, black, all these derogative terms. That's what it's talking about. That we have become a proverb and a byword among all nations, brother. The Lord have led us because we didn't keep the commandments. That's why I was telling you, we already showed you in Isaiah when it was saying now on Isaiah 65:15 that the servants of the Lord, we left our name for a curse. Um, we left our name in Isaiah 65:15. And so that's why these other nations don't have no respect for it. That's why these other nations, they really don't value us the way they supposed to, and they don't treat us like we supposed to be treated as the nation as God has chosen, because we broke the commandments. And it's like, now look at the outcome of things. They on top, they ruling, we being subject to them. And so they looking at us like, why the hell we should call y'all gods and goddesses? Why in the hell we should show y'all great honor and respect and dignity? You know what I'm saying? Like, why they looking at us like we're a fucking joke. You see what I'm saying? Because of what happened of us breaking the commandments. But they weren't doing that when we was on top. We put fear in all their hearts. We already showed you dealing with Joshua, the second chapter, of how the Canaanites and all these other nations, their hearts melt because of us. They were scared. You know what I'm saying? That's when we was in full royalness and control. But now, since we broke the commandments, the other nations, they take us lightly and they look at us like a piece of shit. That's why they really don't respect us neither. That's why they don't show high regards and acknowledgments to the chosen like they should. Okay? Because they change. We changed. We broke the commandments, and that's pretty much it. All right. Let's move on. Let's go to Judith in the Apocrypha. Let's go to Judith 16 and 17. All right. And verse 17. Judith 16 and 17. Watch this. Judith 16 and 17. Woe to the nations. This is the Gentiles, the heathens, non-Israelites. Woe to the nations that rise up against my kindred. See that? That's why I told you, man. You can do whatever the hell you want to do as a Gentile or a heathen, but your best bet is to, treat the Israelites with dignity, respect, and honor, and show them, kindness, like Rahab did. But if you don't want to do that, woe unto the nations that rise up against the Most High's kindred. Now, who is against my kindred? Who is Judith kindred? The Israelites, her people. The Lord Almighty would take vengeance on them. See that? Because you don't want to bless us. You want to continue to misuse us, abuse us, take advantage, exploit us. You want to continue to get over on us, call us derogative names, treat us like we ain't shit. We God's chosen people, but you fail to acknowledge it. You won't even acknowledge that we the Israelite that the Bible speaks of. No matter how many prophecies we show you guys, you other nations will not even acknowledge that we the real Jews and we God's chosen people. That's okay. Woe to the nations that rise up against the Israelites. The Lord Almighty would take vengeance on you same nations, on you Gentiles, in the day of judgment. That's why you got to go in slavery, man. You going to slavery. All you heathen nations going in slavery. You understand? That's the vengeance that's the Most High going to take on you. That's the vengeance of you in that day of judgment, slavery, for 1,000 years. And it says that the Almighty would take vengeance on them in the day of judgment and putting fire and worms in their flesh. That's talking about in terms of you being tormented in the process of this servitude. That's an allegory. When he put fire and worms in your flesh, you're going to feel this slavery. This is the type of slavery you're going to feel. You're going to feel it all the way down in your bones. This slavery that you heathen nations about to get, this 1,000 years of slavery that you heathen nations is about to get, it's going to be as though it's like putting fire and worms in your flesh, man. And they shall feel them, see that? And weak forever. So you're going to have a harsh reality of servitude. You heathen nations that don't want to acknowledge the Israelites and treat us with high regards and respect, continue to do the shit you're doing. And when you enter your 1,000-year of slave period, you enter your 1,000-year period of slavery, we'll see you in excruciating pain in terms of fire and worms in your flesh. And you and you're gonna feel that shit and weep forever, man. And we gonna have no remorse, sympathy, and compassion upon you. Cause you didn't treat us with our regards. That's why I told you Treating the Israelite with respect and honor and dignity is everything. Treating the black, Hispanic, and Native American like that is everything, man. But you can go ahead and do your own thing. You can go ahead and ball out. This is futuristic prophecy in the kingdom to come. Isaiah, this is what will happen to you heathens in a time to come. Isaiah 60, you see right here, this is Isaiah 60 and 10. And the sons of the strangers shall build up thy walls. That's the heathens. You're going to be working your ass off. That's why we try to tell you, man, to treat us with respect, dignity, and honor as the chosen people. Because in your servitude, in your slavery, in your process of slavery and servitude, you're going to, like I said, man, it's going to be a bad time for you heathens. It's going to be a nightmare because you're going to build up the walls. You got to build up the walls of Jerusalem, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee. So the Most High, in his wrath he smote Israel because Israel was not being obedient to his commandments. So he smote us, but in his favor he will have mercy on us. Isaiah 16:11. Therefore your gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day or night, that man may bring into thee the forces of the Gentiles. Because we're going to get first dibs of you other nations. And that their kings may be brought. You see what I'm saying? Isaiah 16:12. For the nation and kingdom that would not serve you, would not serve the Israelites, shall perish. You know what I'm saying? So for you heathen nations, you want to be stubborn. You don't want to get on. You don't want to serve. You don't want to acknowledge us as the chosen. You don't want to acknowledge us as the gods and goddesses of the earth, as the Israelites. It says, then guess what? Whoever that would not serve, your ass shall perish. You see? Yes, those nations, Gentile nations, man, shall be utterly wasted. Your ass gonna perish and be destroyed if you don't want to fail. If you fail to serve us. You know what I'm saying? That's why that's why I'm telling y'all, man. Y'all better be kind to the Israelites like Rahab. Y'all better show kindness. Isaiah 16:13. The glory of Lebanon, them Arabs, shall come unto thee. The fir tree, the pine, and the box together to beautify the place. In the sanctuary I will make the place of my feet glorious. Watch this. Isaiah 16:14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee. See that? That's you so-called heathen nations that brought us all this hell, brought us all this chaos and turmoil. It says, all them that afflicted thee, the sons also of them that afflicted the Israelites. Yeah, like the white people, Edomites, the Africans, Japanese, Chinese, all you other nations that have took us through this hell and high water. It says, all these heathen sons, man, that afflicted Israel, they shall come bending into thee. And all they that despise thee, all you heathen nations that hate our guts and hated us and called us all these derogative names, all they that despise thee, they shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. Get your ass down and bow down and acknowledge us as the chosen and God's peculiar people. That's what's going to happen to you heathens. That's why I told you ain't got to do it now. You understand? You ain't got to do what Rahab did. You ain't got to show us kindness. You understand? You ain't got to honor us as the chosen. You can do your own thing. Now, ultimately, according to the Bible and the biblical prophecies of Isaiah and the kingdom to come, your ass going to be down at the soles of our feet, worshiping us, man. Ultimately, all the people that afflicted us, all you heathens that despised us, your ass going to be down, face down on the ground at the soles of our feet, man, worshiping us. And they shall call the Israelites the city of the Lord and Zion of the Holy One of Israel. So you ain't got to do it now. You understand? But if you heathens decide to do it now, then kudos to you, man, for stripping yourself of that pride that's deep within and acknowledging God's chosen people. Another thing, let me get you another one. Isaiah 49:23. Isaiah 49:23. Isaiah 49:23. See that? Watch this. This in the kingdom to come, man. Let's look at this. Isaiah 49:22. Thus say the Lord God, behold, I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles and set up my standard to the people, and they shall bring thy sons in their arms. See that? And they shall bring thy sons in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders. See what I'm saying? Because you don't want to show us great honor and tribute now. Your ass gonna do it in the kingdom to come. He said, I will lift up my hands to the Gentiles and set up my standard to the people. And they, the Gentiles, they shall bring your sons in their arms, like cradling your sons in their arms, and your daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders. So you don't want to treat us with high regards and respect. That shit is in store for your ass and the kingdom to come, man. All you Gentiles, all you heathens. So you don't want to do it now, don't worry about it. It's right around the corner. Isaiah 49:23. And the king shall be nursing fathers, and the queens thy nursing mothers, because we was that to y'all in our captivity. You know what I'm saying? So now it's time for your kings to be our nursing fathers and your queens to be our nursing mothers. You understand? As far as in the kingdom of heaven to come, y'all gonna be doing a lot of nursing. That's servitude, man. Y'all gonna be serving us, man. And they shall bow down to thee with their face towards the earth. You gonna bow down, you gonna get on your goddamn knees, all you heathens, all you Gentiles. You don't want to acknowledge us. That's why I said it's okay. The scriptures, according to the kingdom to come, and it's right around the corner because it's coming. We got next, and the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And in the kingdom, you're going to get your ass down and you're going to bow with your face towards the earth and acknowledge that the Israelites are God's chosen people and they are gods and goddesses of the earth. We are the salt of this earth. And you shall lick up the dust of thy feet. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because y'all don't want to acknowledge it right now. That's why y'all ass don't know that he the Lord ultimately in the end. Because you're gonna be on the earth with your goddamn face licking the dust from our feet, man. And then you gonna know who the Lord has chosen, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. And we ain't gotta be ashamed at the nation of Israel, because we know what the Bible, we know what the prophecies in the Bible is talking about, and we know that they soon to take place. See that? Isaiah 49:24. Shall the prey be taken for the mighty, or the lawful captives delivered? Isaiah 49:25. But thus said the Lord, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contend with thee. What did the Most High say? I will contend with him that contend with thee. That sounds a whole lot in the beginning when we went over Genesis, when he said, I would bless him that bless thee, but I would curse him that curse thee. Isaiah 49:25 said, I will contend with him that contend with thee. See that? And I will save thy children. So go ahead and contend with the Israelites, you heathens. Contend with us if you will. He said he going to contend with your ass ultimately. See that? Isaiah 49:26. And I will feed them that oppress you. The same old heathen nations that oppressing us, rising up against us. He said, I would feed them that oppress the Israelites. I would feed them with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood, as with sweet wine, and all flesh shall know that I am the Lord, and I am your Savior and your Redeemer, and the mighty one of Israel, the mighty one of Jacob. So guess what? You want to contend with him? You want to contend with the Israelites? Okay, Most High say he's going to contend with your ass. You see that? And also he will feed them that oppress the Israelites with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood. What goes around comes around, man. That's why we really ain't even worrying about it. If you guys show us high regards and respect to this day, even if you don't do it today, we ain't fucking worrying about it. Because we know what the scriptures is pointing to in the kingdom, man. We know what you heathen nations gonna be doing. You understand? Yeah. This is Psalms 105:15, saying, touch not my anointed, and do my prophets no harm. Now it says, touch not my anointed. That's the Israelites. The Israelites is the Lord's anointed, man. The Bible is literally telling you heathens, telling you Gentiles, you non-Israelite people, not to touch his anointed. Touch not my anointed. Touch not the Israelites, and do my prophets no harm. You don't supposed to be doing us bad service. You don't supposed to be doing us harm and destruction. You're supposed to be blessing us. You're supposed to be upholding us. You're supposed to be treating us with dignity and honor and respect and glory. You don't supposed to be doing the Lord's prophets no harm. But you heathen nations have done that over the time. You heathen nations have done that for eons of time. Ever since the early 16, 19, even before that, you have consistently reached your hand out to mistreat and despise and misuse and abuse God's chosen people. You even have done that for some time. And the Bible said, touch not his anointed. That's why I told you already, you can do whatever the hell you want to do as a heathen. But if I was you, I would not be touching the Lord's anointed, and I would not certainly be doing his prophets no harm. I would be blessing them like Rahab the harlot. Okay. Let's see. Here's another one. Zechariah 2:8. Zechariah 2:8. For thus said the Lord of hosts, after the glory, have he sent me into the nations which spoiled you. That's you Gentiles. Watch this. For he that touches you touches the apple of his eye. Because Israel is the apple of the Lord's eye. You understand? And you heathen nations, you Gentiles, if you reach out and put your hand on blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, which are God's chosen, it say he that touches you touches the apple of his eye. So when the white man was raping and robbing and murdering us and lynching us and shit, and all the other nations, the Silk Wall slave trade, the Chinese mistreated us, the Trans-Saharan slave trade, the Africans mistreated us, the Arabs mistreated us, all you other nations, the Egyptians had us as slaves 430 years. Historically, the Babylonians had us as slaves for 70 years. Assyrians had us as slaves, the Greeks, the Romans, all you heathen nations that have subjugated the Lord's people, man. You touch the apple of his eye. He said, but he that touches the Israelites touches the apple of his eye. So the Most High got a big ass bone to pick with you Gentiles and you heathens for doing that shit. The best thing you can do is turn that thing around and start respecting and being nice and showing kindness to God people, man. Like Rahab, again. Because for he that touches you touches the apple of his eye. So who is the apple of the Lord's eye? Israelites. Precept Deuteronomy 32:10. He found him in the desert. That's talking about when they say he found him, that's Jacob, that's Israel. You see? Because we can go right here, Deuteronomy 32:8. When the Most High divided the nations, all these 18 nations, when he divided them up and gave them their inheritance, he separated the sons of Adam and he set the boundaries of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Because that's who he selected as his chosen. And he picked out the Israelites and made them his special and chosen people. Deuteronomy 32:9, for the Lord's portion is his people. Israel, Jacob is the lot of the Lord's inheritance. Deuteronomy 32:10, he found him in the desert land, in the waste howling wilderness. That's Jacob, that's Israel. That's you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He led him about. He instructed him. How did he do that? He gave Israel the law, statutes, and commandments. He kept him. What he did? He kept him as the apple of his eye. He kept him as the apple of his eye. And that's why I told you, according to Zechariah 2:8, you other nations, you want to reach out and touch the Lord chosen? It says, for he that touches the Israelites, he that touches you, touch the apple of his eye. Zechariah 2:8, and also pursuing the Deuteronomy 32:10. It says he instructed him and kept him as the apple of his eye. Israel is the apple of the Lord's eye, man. And you want to reach out and touch the Lord's anointed, you want to touch the Lord's chosen, you touch the apple of his eye, man. And that's why I told you other nations don't know what the hell you doing. You understand? You other nations don't know what you doing, man. When you reaching out and you afflicting God's people, he that touches you touch the apple of his eye. So all you other nations, all you other heathen nations that misused, abused, and heavily oppressed the Lord's anointed and the Lord's chosen, when you did that, you touched the apple of the Lord's eye. And you're going to have to give an account for that. You're going to have to pay for that, man. But you can make your judgment easier, and you can make your judgment a lot less if you would start blessing God's chosen and turn that curse into a bless on how you treat his people. You get what I'm saying? This is it's another one that Is that Psalms 2? There's another one in Psalms 2. Let's look at that. Why do the heathen rage? See that? That's the Gentiles. And the people imagine a vain thing. Psalms 2 and 2. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord. See that? And against his anointed, saying. See that? So they rise up. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the ruler, they take counsel together against. They is against the Lord. They against us, man. And they are against his anointed. They are against the Israelites. You see what I'm saying? Psalms 2 and 3, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. You see what I'm saying? Psalms 2 and 4, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Yeah, the Most High gonna pay y'all ass back according to y'all deeds on how he dealt with his people, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Where is that? Psalms 2. Yeah. Against the Lord's anointed. The Lord's anointed of Israel. Acts 4 and 25. Let's look at that. Acts 4 and 25. See that? Who by the mouth of thy servant David said, why do the heathen rage? That's what we just read. And the people imagine vain things. Acts 4 and 26. The kings of the earth stood up, and the rulers were gathered together against the Lord and his anointed. It didn't say Christ there. They put Christ there. We just showed you the original context of Acts 4 and 26. We showed you the original context. It did not say against his Christ, because the Israelites was never called Christians. The Israelites was not called Christians, and therefore it didn't say against his Christ. The Israelites was called the Lord's anointed, and that's why I said against. In Psalms 2 and 2, it says, and against his anointed. It never said against his Christ, because the Israelites wasn't called Christians. They was called the anointed ones. So Psalms 2 and 2, they rose up against the Lord's anointed, the heathens did. Psalms 2 and 2, fast forward, is Acts 4 and 25. The heathen rage against, the people, that's the Israelites. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine vain things? And then Acts 4 and 26 here, it says that what the kings of the earth, the rulers, the heathens, they gathered together against the Lord and his people, against his anointed, not against his Christ, but they got against his Christ there. You know what I'm saying? So basically, man, do what you please, you heathens. But if I was you, I'd be blessing the Lord's people instead of cursing and rising up against, the Lord's anointed. I would be blessing them. Last verse, 2nd Ezra 5 and 42. 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 42. All right, and it says, and he said to me, I would liken my judgment unto a ring, like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first. So this is how the Most High deals with you heathens, and not only you heathens, just everybody in totality. He said, I would liken my judgment into a ring. Now, when you look at a ring, that's an oval. That's basically what you call a recycling process. His judgment is likened into a ring. So what goes around comes around. That's why he said, I would liken my judgment to a ring. So what you heathens did to Israel, you will receive that. Whatever you do to Israel, you will receive, because his judgment is likened into a ring. That's why he said, if you bless Israel, you will be blessed. But if you curse Israel, you will be cursed. Because his judgment is likened into a ring. So what you put out, basically what you put in, which is what you get out. You feel what I'm saying? So that's all I got for today, guys. I hope you I hope this lesson edified you. I hope you find something, edifying concerning this lesson that you can take and share with other brothers and sisters concerning this truth. Uh yes. So topic of discussion once again, I will bless them that bless thee. I'll curse those that curse thee. I am your host, Shabar Israel, on the behalf of Solid Foundation Israelite Academy. Has been a wonderful lesson. Stand firm in the faith, repent, keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, and I will see you in the next edition. Shalom.